صلى الله عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قالت اليهود ليست النصارى على شيء وقالت النصارى ليست اليهود على شيء وهم يتلون الكتاب كذلك يقول الذين لا يعلمون مثل قولهم فالله يحكم يوم القيامة فيما بينهم فيما كانوا فيه يختلفون. Just as there are a number of differences between the three divine religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the similarities reach an equal amount, if not greater than it, being the number of differences. Because as Muslims, we hold the belief that the only three religions that are existent in the world today, that are primary and also divine, are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The rest of the 18 major movements or religions in the world, such as Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism, Shintoism, Taoism, and even the Rastafarian movement, are religions which hold roots created by man and not roots which are divine. That's why if you were to go to the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it clear to you and I that these three customs aren't three different religions. Rather, there are three different customs of the same religion. That's why when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ, the religion of Allah, or the religion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is Islam. Is this only a reference to the teachings of the Prophet of Islam, peace be upon him and his family? No, no, no. It's a reference made to the teachings of Musa, to the teachings of Ibrahim, to the teachings of Isa, ala nabiyyina wa ala alihi wa alayhi salam. Because Islam may be the deen of Muhammad, but it's the millah of Ibrahim. Islam, it's the deen, no doubt, of Muhammad. That's why one of the ad'iyah that is recommended, when we sleep, you put the two hands under your right cheek and you say, Bismillah wada'tu jambi ala millati Ibrahim wa dini Muhammad. Islam in its entirety, the roots are Ibrahim. The various prophets, Musa, Isa, Ibrahim, ala nabiyyina wa ala alihi wa alayhim jami'an salam, yet the entire tree is Islam. That's why when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes to the Holy Quran, He says, مِلَّةَ أَبِيكُمْ إِبْرَاهِيمُ هُوَ سَمَّاكُمُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَفِي هَذَا. He says, it's the custom of your father Ibrahim. He's the one who named you Muslims. That there may be different shara'i'. When we come to the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions perhaps 6 different forms of scriptures which He has sent. Because we believe that the Quran is the last scripture, but one of 6. You have, for example, the Zabur, sent to Dawood, ala nabiyyina wa ala alihi wa alayhi salam. You have the Suhuf, sent to Ibrahim and Musa, salamullahi alayhim wa ala nabiyyina jami'an. Suhuf Ibrahim wa Musa. The Injil, sent to Isa, salamullahi alayhi. And then you have the Torah, sent to Musa, and then the Quran, sent to Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The previous 5 scriptures have been condensed in that last scripture, being the Holy Quran. That's why when Isa alayhi salam would come, ala nabina wa ala alihi wa salam, he says, I'm coming to confirm the teachings of Musa. You'll see, the Prophet of Islam comes and says, I have come to confirm the teachings of who? of Isa alayhi salam. Meaning within the Holy Quran is Christianity, within the Holy Quran is Judaism. Islam is the umbrella that put that rubber band upon the teachings of the prophets that came before. The Holy Prophet of Islam, peace be upon him, and his family. Someone may come and ask a question. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within the Holy Quran, He uses the term Judaism, or He uses the term Christianity. Does this mean it's a testimony to the fact that they are separate religions? No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He speaks about the idols of those who worshipped idols in Jahiliyyah, He comes and He says, مَا هِيَ إِلَّا أَسْمَاءٌ سَمَّيْتُمُوهَا أَنْتُمْ وَآبَاؤُكُمْ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ بِهَا مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they are nothing but names that you have come forward with. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought no authority down to such names. Likewise, the terms Judaism and Christianity are concocted names by the people of their time. Yet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to use it to make a reference to the teachings of Musa and Isa ala nabiyana wa ala alihi wa alayhi salam. If he was just to say this teaching and that teaching, people would be like, what is he talking about? Therefore he said Judaism, because people know what Judaism is. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts the final blow to this discussion when He says, مَا كَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَهُودِيًّا وَلَا نَصْرَانِيًّا وَلَكِنْ كَانَ حَنِيفًا مُسْلِمًا وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Ibrahim, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi, neither was he a Jew, nor was he a Christian. Rather, he was a submitted, upright Muslim, and neither was he from the polytheists. That's why when you come and look at these divine religions, you'll see there's a number of similarities between them. For example, of the obvious, all worship one Lord, all believe in men sent as prophets, all believe in a last day, known as the Day of Judgment, and all believe in a concept which is known as eschatology. Eschatology being a Western term which has been given to the belief Judaically and Christianity and Islamically of the end of time, history, the Messianic era, and theodicy, the idea where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has good names, yet evil still exists. The reconciliation between the two is referred to as theodicy. I referred to the Messianic era. You'll see within these three religions, all three believe in the coming of a man at the end of time. For example, Christians come and say, the second coming of Jesus, son of Mary, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi. Jews come and say, we believe in the Mashiach, the coming of Musa, ala nabiyina wa ala alihi wa alayhi salam. Or the Mashiach being the Messiah that comes from the Davidic line, from the descendants of Musa, ala nabiyina wa ala alihi wa alayhi salam. And Muslims, no differently, come and believe in the coming of Imam Sahib al-Asr wa zaman. Ajalallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One belief that stems from this notion of eschatology is a battle which is known as the Battle of Armageddon. Armageddon is seen as a byword to apocalyptic events in the world today. And the battle that will take place at the end of time, which will close the chapter of history with a battle of good winning over evil. Now, of course, before we go into this idea of the Battle of Armageddon, somebody may be thinking that this concept of the Armageddon, the Battle of Armageddon, is a topic which is simply a historical topic. For example, it's something that the scriptures refer to and something that may happen in the future. What does this have to do with me as a Muslim living in the 21st century? Firstly, when we look at media today, we'll see there are a number of individuals who have dedicated their lives to do what? To spewing hatred towards the religion of Islam. For example, Robert Spencer, these bigots who come and have nothing to do but to spew hatred against the religion of Islam. Wafa Sultan, Daniel Pipes. Wafa Sultan, interestingly, was a previously Syrian Muslim woman. She was interviewed on Al-Jazeera when she came and announced the publication of her book. What was the name of her book? The God Who Hates. The women who inflamed the Muslim Ummah speaks out against the evils of Islam. Wafa Sultan was a previous Muslim. 2006, she came and published this book. When we speak about the Battle of Armageddon, is it simply a historical topic or a reference to what will happen in the future? No. It's a dedication to do what? To counterattack the attacks that people come and bring towards the religion of Islam. To show that Islam, not only is it a universal religion, perhaps it is the only universal religion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent to mankind. Yet firstly, I'd like to do this in a specific manner. We're going to jump into the Bible to see what does the Bible say about Armageddon. What does the Torah say about Armageddon? And lastly, what does the Quran say about Armageddon? To have an understanding of how could we prove the universality of the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the religion of Islam, through this concept of the Armageddon. Because they come and they say, you believe in Armageddon where Muslims will come and kill all those who are non-Muslims. We come in, we say, something which I'll refer to later on in the majlis. We go into Christianity. Firstly, where does the Bible make a reference to the Battle of Armageddon? And what does this understanding tell us about the universality of Islam and the exclusivity of those other than Islam? We come to the Bible. The word Armageddon is mentioned 12 times in the Bible. None of them have anything to do with this battle that will take place at the end of time. Yet 2 references are made in the New Testament, which comes and tells us where Christians come and say they believe in the Battle of Armageddon. Found where? In the New Testament, chapter 16, verse 16, in the book of Revelation. Book of Revelation, you had a man known as John the Apostle. Some refer to him as John the Apostle. He would be sitting down and he begins to receive revelation after revelation. A sound comes to him and tells him, what thou seest, write in a book. John takes out his pencil, he begins to write. He doesn't hear what thou seest. Revelation through imagery comes to him. He begins to draw bizarre imagery. The days of the end of time. Problems, for example, of the Messiah that he will face. He begins to write in 7 sections. Today, if you're to open up the book of Revelation, you see 7 sections. The 7 bowls, the 7 visions, the 7 final visions, the 7 wraths, the 7 churches, and so on and so forth. 7 different categories. Prophecy, the word mentioned 21 times in the book of Revelation. Never was it mentioned in other biblical scripture more than it was mentioned in this book. In the chapter known as 7 bowls, chapter 16, verse 16, a verse comes and tells us, and the kings will gather on a day in a land which in Hebrew is known as Armageddon. Armageddon means what? When you look at the word Armageddon, it has nearly 4 different dimensions to be looked at. Firstly, etymologically, when you look at Armageddon, it means Har Megiddo, the Mount of Megiddo. Really, if you were to go and look for this land historically, from a historical aspect, they tell us that this land is found southwest 30 kilometers of Palestine. Where? In Palestine. On this land, they say nearly 3 battles have took place in 609 BC between King Thutmose and, of course, King Megiddo and Kadesh. You have furthermore in the 15th century BC a battle which took place between the Egyptian forces and also the defending Ottoman Empire. And then in 1919 you also had a battle which took place between the Ottoman Empire and General Edmund Allenby. So you'll see it has a historical significance etymologically, and even when you look at it from a theological perspective, because we're not interested, it's not a history lesson that we're trying to present, it's not a language class, but theologically, what's the importance of this land? They come and tell us, chapter 16, verse 16, they will gather on land known as Armageddon. Christians come and tell us, on this land, Jesus will make his second coming, and he will be battling against who? Against the Antichrist. We want to know who's the Antichrist. Book of John comes and tells us, and because I want to know, this Jesus, is he coming to fight for me, or is he going to come and fight against me? I as a Muslim, will my neck be severed by the hands of Jesus, or will my neck be saved by Jesus? They come, they say, he will come and he will fight the Antichrist. Question, who's the Antichrist? Bible comes and tells us, the Antichrist is he who doesn't believe in the fact that Jesus was sent in human flesh. Question, me as a Muslim, do I believe Jesus was sent in human flesh? Last time I checked, we believe Jesus was a prophet like the rest of the 124,000. Of course, he had a special level of priority, being the special of Ulul Azm, the 5, but in common sense, he was a prophet, not the son of God, he was a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, I don't believe that Jesus will come in human flesh, being God sent in human flesh. And the Antichrist is he who doesn't believe that Jesus was sent in human form. Therefore, I read this and I come to a conclusion that somebody who doesn't believe that Jesus was sent in human flesh, therefore I am the Antichrist. Therefore, when he comes, he's going to kill me. Today you sit down with any Christian, you ask him, what do you think? Am I going to hell or heaven? He'll say, son, I'm sorry to break it to you, but hell will be welcoming you. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part. Well, me? Yeah. Hell will be welcoming you. How many times have I heard Christians, they come, I remember being in a mosque, an old lady comes to me, tells me, son, believe in Jesus. I told her, excuse me, I think I should be the one telling you believe in Jesus, because I believe in the proper Jesus and you believe in this concocted Jesus. Son, what do you mean? Today you go to the Bible, first book of Corinthians, chapter 11, verse number 6. St. Paul sends a letter to Corinthians telling them, a respected female is somebody who puts a veil on her head. You ask this Christian, my females wear a veil, your females don't. Jesus in the Bible comes and mentions, don't eat swine, don't eat pig. My people don't eat swine, your people do. Jesus comes and says, I am nothing but a worshipper. He's, for goodness sake, they come and they tell us he's on the cross. And he complains, he says, Eloi, Eloi, lima sabachthani. My Lord, why have you forsaken me? Now, unless Jesus had some issues and he was talking to himself, him being this Lord, in the common sense, he was talking to another Lord, meaning he himself was a worshipper. So I tell her, we believe in what your Bible says. You don't. Who's the true Christian? You or I? Huh? Who is a true follower of Jesus? You or I? We as Muslims could make the claim that we are more Jew than the Jews themselves. We're more Christian than the Christian themselves. Why? Because we have done nothing except took the teachings of Jesus and stayed true to them. Whereas you chose to concoct some beliefs after Jesus apparently left this world and you named it Christianity. I tell them, you want to know the true teachings of your man, who you refer to as Son of God? Come to Islam. Come to the teachings of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Therefore the Christians come and say, Battle of Armageddon will be the Messiah versus the Antichrist. Antichrist being you and I, anybody who doesn't believe that he came in human flesh, representing God on this earth, or manifesting God on this earth. We go to Judaism, brothers and sisters. Judaism not only says it will be in Palestine, of course they say Israel, but we believe it's Palestine. Not only will it be in Palestine, it will be against Israel, and they even give us the names of the countries who will fight. They come and they make a reference in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verses 1 through 6. They tell us nearly 5-6 different names of countries. For example, Ethiopia will be fighting against this land. Tubal will be fighting against this land. Of course, Persia is there too. Persia will be fighting against this land. Meshach will be fighting. Gog, Magog, and so on and so forth. Nearly 6 different countries they come and they tell us in the chapter of Ezekiel 38, verses 1 through 6, that will be fighting. Now, if you were to refer to Judaic scripture, literature, they come in, they mention that the primary goal, or we can say one of the primary goals of this Messiah, is to come and re-establish the Davidic dynasty. And they say any Messiah who fights to establish the Davidic dynasty and fights the war of God could be considered the Messiah. Today you look in Judaic scripture and you see they separate man into 2 different kinds, Jews and Gentiles. Meaning, either you are a Jew who will be saved by the Messiah, or you are a Gentile who will be fought by the Messiah. Therefore the Jews, they come and they make a clear statement. For goodness sake, they don't even propagate their religion. Have you noticed? Jews, unlike Christians, don't go from door to door trying to spread Judaism, because they believe that if you were born a Jew, then you are chosen, because they are Sha'bullah al-Mukhtar. They are the chosen people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, if you were born a Jew, you are a Jew. If not, we don't want you to come. That's why you'll see they're a minority. Nearly how much? They say 13 million simply in the States. But somebody has to give credit to them. Despite being a minority, you'll see how many fields in this country have been ruled by them. And this really puts a feeling of guilt within the heart of a Muslim. Why? Because our numbers are more than them. They're a minority, yet despite us being more than them, you find their presence is more than us. Today you find, for example, a Jew goes on in media, he doesn't attack another Jew. He puts a bandage on his injury. Muslims, Allahu Akbar. He's the first to expose the flaw of his brother. You aren't doing this? Unacceptable. Have you read this hadith? Bukhari, have you read this and that? Haram, Jahannam. You see the Jew, he goes up there, he'll give his life for his brother. But a Muslim, he's one of the first to expose the flaw of his brother. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes in and says, the Muslim ummah is like a body. Once it's injured, the whole body begins to sympathize. Us, what we do, we see an injury on our brother, we go and put salt on it with a smile. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and says, go and put a bandage. What are you doing? مَثَلُ أُمَّتِي كَمَثَلِ الْجَسَدِ إِذَا اشْتَكَى مِنْهُ عُضْوًا تَدَاعَى لَهُ سَائِرُ الْجَسَدِ بِالْحَمَى. He says a Muslim ummah is like a body. One part gets hurt, he goes and sympathizes with it. He doesn't expose it or go and, as one would say, expose it. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and says, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Mu'minun are brothers. Therefore they were able to do, despite their minority, they were able to spread one message and not expose the flaw of their brother, rather put a bandage on it. Therefore within Judaism, Jews versus Gentiles. Christianity, Christians versus Antichrist. Antichrist being anybody who doesn't believe in Jesus coming in human flesh. Brothers and sisters, could we go to the Quran? Could we see what you and I believe in? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and gives us a principle within the Holy Quran. He says in chapter 28, verse number 5. And honestly, when you come across such verses, your heart just sinks in a pool of comfort, knowing that you are a Muslim. You are somebody who believes in this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what does He say? Chapter 28, verse number 35, Surah Al-Qasas. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنَجْعَلَهُمْ أَئِمَّةً وَنَجْعَلَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and tells us, we want to recompense for those who are Muslims, meaning we want to give them the world, we want to give them the land, we want it to be inherited to them at the end of the time, referring to the ends of existence. To who? وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ عَلَى الْمُسْلِمِينَ عَلى الشِّيعَةِ عَلى مُوَالِينَ عَلِيُّ بْنِ أَبِي طَالِبٍ سَلَامُ اللَّهِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى. Or for example, maybe on those who follow the Quran. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts only one criteria, one description for those who the Messiah will come and inherit the world to. What does the verse say? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Meaning, are you a Christian? That's irrelevant. Are you mustad'if? Are you oppressed? The Messiah will come and fight for you. Are you a Jew? Doesn't matter. Are you oppressed? Messiah will come and fight for you. Are you an atheist? Doesn't matter. The verse comes and says, مُسْتَضْعَفِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Doesn't matter. Messiah will come and fight for you. Regardless of what your religion is, if you're an oppressed individual, the Messiah will come and fight for you and not fight against you. Compare this to the rest of the beliefs. Regardless of who you are, you know what the Christians come and say? You are a murderer, you're a criminal, you're a rapist, whatever you are, it doesn't matter. You are a Christian, Jesus died for your sins. Believe in, when we hear, mashallah, these preachers, very good at what they do. Believe in Jesus. You know why? That's why you'll see in New Year's, you go and you open CNN or any other channel, you see Times Square, what are they doing, mashallah? The first day of the year, you see him very comfortable with his spouse, to be on the safe side, drinking. The first day of the year, this is what you decide to do? Us Muslims, what do we do? The first day of our Islamic year, we're in the masajid beating our chest for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. You see the difference? First year of Muharram, first month of Islamic calendar is Muharram. The first of Muharram, what are we doing? We're in the masjid crying for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Christians and Jews, mashallah, we're not here to ridicule, we're here to speak reality. First day of the year, you see him doing certain things. You see him drinking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and says, this is the first day you want to begin your life? This is how you want to spend it? So you'll see some people come and say, can I play music in a wedding? It's only one day. Come on, brother. What's the problem? That's exactly the point. It's the first day of the next chapter of your life. You want to begin it with a disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah comes and says, وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ. We go back to the verse. عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا. Those who are oppressed, regardless of who you are, what you have done. Are you madloom? Are you mustad'if? Messiah is coming to fight for you. And this is the teachings Islam come with. Respect for Christians, respect for Jews, because we see them as people of different customs of the same religion. I'll give you an example. One day, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, he would be walking and he sees some Muslims torturing a Christian, Imam comes to them, he tells them, what are you doing? They would reply by saying, Imam, don't worry about it. He is Nasari. He's from Ahl al-Kitab. He's a Christian, from people of the book. Imam Al-Mu'mineen, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi, he would give a reply that today if you were to go to the United Nations, you would see a plaque which has the words of the Imam salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala echoed. The plaque, what does it say? It says, الناس صنفان إما أخ لك في الدين أو نظير لك في الخلق. People are of two types. Either he's your brother in faith or your equal in humanity. He would say, woe be unto you if he's not your brother in faith, he's your equal in humanity. You compare this to what the Crusades did. 800 years were ruling Spain. They come, the first year of their domination against over Spain, what did they do? They asked you, are you Muslim? Yes. You want to become Christian? No. Killed. The streets of Spain were filled with the blood of Muslims. Why? Simply because they refused to come towards the teachings of Christianity. Look at what the Prophet did when he entered Medina, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He would enter Medina, he would see the Jews, 3 tribes, Banu Quwaynaqa, Banu Nadir, Banu Qurayza. What did he say? Did he say, you're a Jew? You're killed? Oh, you're going to enjoy it in the Jahannam, mashallah. Charcoal is going to be top notch. Don't worry about it. No. He tells them, you're a Jew? Go and read the Constitution. He says, you can practice what you want. We have nothing to do with your teachings. We are not going to stop you from being Jews. You want to follow this, follow it. Whatever you want, at least if you're not harming us as Muslims, you can do whatever you want. Tell me, which religion comes with such democracy? I can't enter heaven unless if I believe in Musa, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I can't enter heaven unless if I believe in Jesus, ala nabiyyina wa ala alihi wa alayhim jami'an as-salam. Tell me, which other religion can say that? This foot, one reason that it won't enter Jannah is because I denied the teachings of Musa. Who can come and say that? Which Christian can make such a teaching? No, on the contrary, they say, if we believe in your teachings today, go on some websites, you'll see the Prophet of Islam has said, I am the Prophet that laughs while killing my enemies. I am the Prophet that nowadays he killed. First of all, we come and we argue. One argument is there. Prophet has never touched a person in his life. He left that for Ali ibn Abi Talib because he was very good at what he used to do. I am the Prophet that used to kill, laugh while killing my enemies. This is the same Rahmatan lil Alameen. This is the same وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. This is the same one, It's interesting. They're very good at drawing new pictures. The Prophet, who has never touched a man in his life violently, is drawn with a bomb placed on his head. With a man has never killed a person, and for goodness sake, he stopped people from torturing a Christian. Of course, Ali ibn Abi Talib was nothing but an echo of the Prophet of Islam. These teachings were brought by the Prophet of Islam. Therefore, this is the same man. You think about it, it's sad. Yet you think about it even further, there is a reality behind it. Because of this notion, because of our universality, because of the similarity we have with other religions, I'll give you some similarities, for example, we'll continue that point. Christians have Maryam, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayha, who is the lady of their world. We have Fatima, who salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayha, who is the lady of our world. Look at the similarity. We have Ali ibn Abi Talib, who was the warrior of Bani Hashim. They have Yusha bin Nun, who was the warrior of Bani Ishaq. You'll see there's unbelievable similarity between the first Imam salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Yusha bin Nun. Unbelievable. For example, both of them died on Laylatul Qadr. Both of them. Imam al-Hasan salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would come, he would say, بِمِثْلِ هَذَا الْيَوْمِ تَوَفَّى Yusha bin Nun. On a day like this, Yusha bin Nun salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala was killed. Furthermore, you'll see both of them were successors of major prophets, Yusha bin Nun of Musa, Imam Al-Mu'mineen salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala of the Prophet of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you'll see both of them, the wives of the Prophet who they succeeded, led a battle against them. Yusha bin Nun was led by a battle led by Safura, the wife of Musa, ala nabiyina wa ala alihi wa alayhi salam, with a giraffe. And then you had, of course, Ali ibn Abi Talib, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who had a lady, but the only difference was that she was on a camel in the battle of Jamal. We come and say, look at the similarity between you. Is it something haphazard? Is it accidental? Christians, their man, 12 disciples. Jews, their man, 12 sons of Jacob. Muslims, Muhammad, and 12 imams of Al-Muhammad.
Is it something that you look at the blueprint, it's very similar. It's like two people come and they put their blueprint, he puts this. You see unbelievable similarity. Is it something accidental or is there a relationship between the two? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and praises Christians in the Quran for a reason. He says, وَإِذَا سَمِعُوا مَا أُنزِلَ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ تَرَى أَعْيُنَهُمْ تَفِيضُ مِنَ الدَّمْعِ مِمَّا عَرَفُوا مِنَ الْحَقِّ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا آمَنَّا فَاكْتُبْنَا مَعَ الشَّاهِدِينَ. When they hear what is revealed to you, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, their eyes begin to overflow with tears. The closest people you'll see to yourself are Christian. الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا نَصَارَى. Therefore, because of this notion of the similarities, people fear Islam. So when you think, why do people fear Islam? Two reasons pop up in your mind. Firstly, because of the ignorance people may have towards Islam. And ignorance does exist in the world today, where the first Imam Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and says that people are enemies of that which they are ignorant of. I don't know what's in a closet, I feel fear to jump into it. I don't know what's in the basement, I feel fear. People are perhaps ignorant. Statistics come and support this claim. For example, some statistics come and tell us that 60% of non-Muslims come and say we know nothing about Islam. 2% come and say we know a lot about Islam. And they say perhaps 10% come and say that Muslims worship the moon. That's a problem. I mean, if he believes I worship the moon, then that leaves a lot to be desired. Perhaps ignorance, that may be the first reason. Second reason, no, it's not ignorance. He knows how great this religion is. Therefore, he's gonna display it in a fearful way so that he can let people retract from coming towards this religion. No, it's not because of fear. It's because he knows it so well, he's gonna say, listen, we know it, therefore let's make it look like it's bad. I'll give you some examples. When you look at Daniel Pipes, who I mentioned in the initial of this presentation, he was sitting down and we're Meet the Press. They come and they ask him, Daniel Pipe, why are you going to attack such a country? No need to bring names. What happens if you miss? He would say, that's a problem. He would say, what if you miss and they have the same weapons as you? He would say, that's a bigger problem. He would say, what if you miss? They have greater weapons as you and they attack you back? Greater problem. He would tell him, if scenario after scenario after scenario, one is worse than the other, why are you going to attack such a country? You want to know his reply? We say they don't know the 12th Imam, Ajjalullah subhanahu wa ta'ala Sharif. The way he says even worse than all three scenarios is if a man rises from Mecca with the flags of there is no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his hand, coming to overthrow our mission and our agenda. Now we come and say they don't know. I'll give you another example. Conference in Israel about the Shia. One man rises and they want to describe what is it that the Shia have, what's the special ingredient? You know, you eat something, it's amazing. You want to know what's so special about this food. They want to know what's so special about this religion, about this sect that the world is, placing under the microscope. He comes and he stands up, he says, Shia have three things that makes them so powerful. And of course, when it's coming from the horse of the mouth, it's something to listen to. He comes and he says, there are three things. Firstly, they have, listen to his words. He says, firstly, they have Hussein. Jew, where in Israel? They have Hussein. Why do they fear Hussein? Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because this man died, yet still felt he was victorious. He died with a smile. Now we do whatever we want to the Shia. They still feel they're victorious because they seek lessons from Hussein, who died yet still felt victorious. Therefore we can do whatever we want to them. They still feel victorious because they learn lessons from their teacher, Abu Abdullah Hussein. First one, Hussein. Number two, they have Marji'iyya. Marji'iyya as well. They have leaders, they have pillars, they have people like Ayatollah Sistani, They have people like Ayatollahs who lead the world, making them introduced to the world and to the teachings of Islam. They balance the ummah, We fear that. They can't handle it. Because we have a system. You know, no other religion has a clear system like the system of Marji'iyya that exists in the religion of Islam. Number two, Marji'iyya. Number three, he comes and he says, they have Mahdi. Why do they fear Mahdi? We fear Mahdi, Ajjalullah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the Sharif. Why? Because Hussein shows them that their past is victorious. Marji'iyya shows them that their present is preserved. And Mahdi shows them that their future is sealed. As Muslims, three dimensions. Imam Amir al-Mu'minin Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and he says, Rahimullah imra'in arifa min ayn, wa fi ayn, wa ila ayn. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on the one who knows where he came from. My past is Hussein. Ya laytana kunna ma'akum. We say, oh, we wish we were with you. Why? My past Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My present is what? وَفِي أَيْن. When the Imam comes and says, Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my present is the leaders, the ulama of my ummah. Ulama ummati ka-anbiya bani Israel, as the Prophet of Islam, peace be upon him, his family says. And then he says, وَإِلَىٰ أَيْن. To where? My future is Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. عَجَلَ اللَّهُ سبحانه وتعالى فرجه الشريف. These three dimensions. Therefore, you'll see when we come in, we speak about this notion. It comes and it tells us a point. It comes and says that Muslims come and see their past is Karbala, their present is ulama, and their future is Imam Sahib al-Zaman, Ajalallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Farajuhu Sharif. That's why you'll see when we speak about the greatness of Armageddon, as great as it is, when sometimes we come and say Karbala is so great. Karbala was an attempt to pave the path for Armageddon. Karbala took place so that it can spread the carpet, so that Imam Sahib al-Zaman, Ajalallah subhanahu wa ta'ala Farajul Sharif, could come and walk. Meaning, in Karbala, it may have been a tear, but the Imam will come and transform that tear into a smile. If I keep the tear as a tear, don't connect it to the smile, there's a disconnection in the picture. I cry, yes, crying is humble. That's why you'll see how many prophets cried about the Imam you and I cry about, Aba Abdullah Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayh. You'll see, for example, Ismail ibn Hisqeel, in the time of Bani Israel, they would come, they would rip the skin from his face. Jibreel would come and say, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Nabi Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, do you want any help? He would say, no, leave me alone. Your skin is being pulled. Do you feel it? No, I don't want any help. Why? Listen to these lines. This is what thousands of years before the Imam, Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, لِي أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ بِالْحُسَيْنِ بْنُ عَلِي. He says, I have an example through Hussein ibn Ali, Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning, I may not be there in Karbala. Therefore, let me feel some of the pain that the man who will be in Karbala will go through. Ismail ibn Hisqeel. Ibrahim, Salamullah ala nabiyina wa ala alihi wa salam, passes by the lands of Karbala. He falls, he trips, begins to bleed, turns to Allah, he says, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I am your prophet. Why did you do such a thing to me? Have I done anything wrong? He would say, no, oh my prophet, oh Ibrahim, but you fell on a spot where a man by the name of Hussein will fall on, and I wanted your blood to mix with his. You know where Imam al-Hussein was killed? Isa was born in that same exact place. Some ulama come and say. Someone says, is that a coincidence? No. Every single prophet fell on that same exact piece of land, that when his blood was shed, it wasn't the first blood, it was the last blood after 124,000 prophets. Meaning, Hussein, Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, died, and with him there was an attempt for the teachings of Musa to be attacked. With him, it was only attacked to him and his family. The teachings of Musa, ala nabiyina wa ala alihi wa salam, were attacked. The teachings of Isa, ala nabiyina wa ala alihi wa were attacked. Meaning, Karbala wasn't only Hussein Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala versus Yazid la'anatullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was what? It was Musa against Fir'aun. It was Ibrahim versus Namrud. It was who? It was Jesus against the Jews of his time. It was Nuh against the enemies of his time. It was Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam against Abu Sufyan. It was Ali ibn Abi Talib versus Muawiyah. It was haqq versus batil. Otherwise, why is it when the Imam, Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would be sent by the Prophet of Islam, peace be upon him, and his family to battles, he wouldn't say, my cousin is going. He wouldn't say, my Khalifa is going. He would say, ظَهَرَ الْإِسْلَامُ كُلُّهُ لِلْكُفْرِ كُلِّهِ. ظَهَرَ what? Iman. Iman is walking onto the battlefield to verse kufr. Therefore, Hussein, son of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was the representation of haqq and Yazid. It's not Yazid. It wasn't Hussein versus Yazid. It was Husseinism versus Yazidism. There's a big difference. Husayniyat versus Yazidism. You know what? It was Hussein who was the manifestation of haqq versus Yazid who was nothing but evil. That's why when we're saying Ziyarah Ashura, we say لَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةٌ. What do we say? أَسْرَجَتْ وَقَاتَلَتْ وَأَسَّسَتْ أَسَاسَ الظُّلْمِ وَالْجَوْرِ عَلَيْكُمْ أَهْلِ الْبَيْتِ. They did what? They built the foundation of dhulm. Oppression was founded in Karbala. Oppression was found in Karbala. And haqq reached a new peak in Karbala. That's why when we go to Karbala, we see that there was even non-Muslims who joined Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi. You know that story of Wahab, which touches the hearts. Wahab, they say, would be passing by the lands of Karbala, and he would see a man who has nur emitting from his face. He would come to this man and he would tell him, who are you? He would say, I'm the grandson of the Prophet of Islam, peace be upon him and his family. He would say, prove it to me. Some say he would perform some miracles, and the man would be convinced. He would say, what can I do to spread your teachings? He would say, take this sword and go and fight for the teachings of Islam. They say Wahab would take the sword, he would begin. Wahab didn't become a Muslim. Some come and say he became Muslim. He lived as a Christian and he died as a Christian, to show that even Christians fought with the Imam, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi. He would go, he would begin to fight. He hears the voice of his mother telling him, oh Wahab, come back. He would turn around, he would say, mother, please let me fight. She would say, no, Wahab, a second time I tell you, come back. He would turn around the third time. She would tell him, oh Wahab, go and fight for the sake of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi. He would say, mother, the first 2 times you told me to come back. The third time you're telling me to go. Why? Listen to the reply. She comes and says, my heart broke when I heard the voice saying, Ala hal min nasirin yansuruna. My heart shattered when I heard the voice saying, Ala hal min mu'inin yu'inuna. They say Wahab would go, his wife would come, he would tell her, go back. They say the head of Wahab would be decapitated. Umar ibn Sa'ad, la'anatullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would say, take the head and throw it back to his mother, to show her that you gave us Wahab, we give you his head back. Do you know what she would say? She would take the head, she would throw it back. She would say, this head was given sadaqah. Once sadaqah is given, never would it be taken back. She would say, if I had 10 sons, I would give them all to the son of Zahra, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayha. And this is one incident. Another incident which breaks the heart is that Christian man who was sent to finish the job. They say Umar ibn Sa'ad would see Imam, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi, on the sands. He would send one man, he would go and see the face of the grandson of his Prophet, peace be upon his family. He would come back. Second man, same. Third man, same. Until he said, is there any Christians? Are there any Christians in this army? One man would raise his hand. He would say, oh Christian man, go and kill him. He doesn't know who this is. He doesn't know his grandfather, doesn't know his mother. He would go to the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi. He wouldn't be distracted. He doesn't know who this man was. A man who even Shimr was distracted from. Do you know Shimr? La'anatullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi. He would go to the body and he would instantly say, I was distracted by the nur that was coming from the face of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi, and I forgot the main reason why I was walking to his body. The Christian man approaches the body. He takes out his sword. He comes down to the body. He wants to get ready to behead Imam al-Hussein, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi. Imam opens up his eyes. He says, Akhi Nasrani, halla qara'ta al-Injil. He says, oh my Christian brother, have you not read the Bible? He would say, yes, I have. Look at the language. Akhi, my brother, id'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah. This is that verse manifested. He would say, Akhi Nasrani, halla qara'ta al-Injil. He would say, yes, I have. He would tell him, have you come across these 5 names? The names of Al-Muhammad, salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala ajma'in, were mentioned in the Bible before it was manipulated. He would tell him, have you come across these 5 names? He would tell him, which name? He would tell him, the first name is Ahmad. The second name is Ilya. The third name is Fatima. The fourth name is Shubbar. And the fifth name is Shubair. He would tell him, have you come across these names? He would say, yes. Who are they? What's your point? He would say, the first man is my grandfather. I am the grandson of Ahmad in your Bible, sallallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. He would say, the second name, Ilya, is my father, Ali. The third name is my mother, Fatima. The fourth name is my brother, Hassan. And the fifth name is my name. I am Shubair in your Bible. He would say, Allahu Akbar, you are the one mentioned Shubair in our Bible? He would say, yes, I am. He would say, what can I do? He would say, take my hand and repeat after me. He would begin to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna jaddaka Muhammad Rasulullah. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. These are the last nights we have with our Imam. We may not be there in Karbala, yet oh Allah, we ask you to bless us with the ziyarah of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. You know, we speak about the Messiah coming at the end of time. They say one of the first places after he goes to Mecca and Jerusalem, he would go to Karbala. Some say he would open up the shrine of the Imam and he would see the Imam, yet the 6-month-old baby on the chest would break his heart. He would take the child, he would raise him up to the sky, and he would say, Allahumma ma dhanbu hadha al-tifl al-radhi'. He would say, oh Allah, what is the guilt of this 6-month-old baby? And I leave you with this narration which breaks the heart indeed. They say one alim saw the 12th Imam Ajjalallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala Farj Sharif in the dream, and he told him, Ya Imam, you mentioned for example, Ana al-Imam al-Qa'im, Ana al-Imam al-Muntaqim. Do you know what the Imam would say in the ziyarah? He would say, Ala ya ahl al-alam, inna jaddi al-Hussein dhabahuhu atshana. He would say, oh people of the world, my grandfather Hussein was beheaded while he was thirsty. Ala ya ahl al-alam, inna jaddi al-Hussein sahaquhu adwana. He's telling the world what happened. Oh people of the world, my grandfather Hussein was trampled with enmity until he says, Ala ya ahl al-alam, inna jaddi al-Hussein tarahuhu uryana. My grandfather Hussein, they left him naked. Yet he comes to this line where the alim asks him about. He would tell him, Ya Imam, Ajjalallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala Farj Sharif, you mention in your ziyarah, لَأَنْجُبَنَّكَ صَبَاحًا وَمَسَاءً وَلَأَبْكِيَنَّ عَلَيْكَ بَدَلَ الدُّمُوعِ دَمًا. I will cry for you day and night and shed tears of blood besides normal tears. He would tell him, who are you referring to in the ziyarah? Is it a reference to Al-Qasim Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi? He told him, no, if he was here, he would be crying as well. Is it a reference to Al-Akbar Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi? No, if he was here, he would cry as well. He would tell him, is it a reference to Abbas? It must be Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi. Qamar al-Ashira, Qamar Bani Hashim. He would say, no, if he was here, he would cry as well. He told him, I know who it is. It must be Hussein Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He would say, no, it's not even him. If he was here, he would cry as well. He would say, then who do you cry about day and night and shed tears of blood? He would mention only 2 words, the Imam Ajjalallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala Farj Sharif. He would say, Abki ammati Zainab, ammati Zainab. He would say, I cry about my aunt Zainab. Do you know if there's one thing that broke the heart of Ahlul Bayt Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhim, was the fact that Zainab, the one who in Medina, her shadow wouldn't be seen. Hassan to her left, Hussein to her right, Abbas behind her, Ali ibn Abi Talib in front of her. Not only was her shadow seen, but some say her very hijab was ripped off in Karbala. We say altogether what is now mentioned on Tell al-Zainabiyya. You go to Karbala, there is a tella known as Tell al-Zainabiyya. It has written on top of it, Assalamu alayka ya Jabal al-Sabr. Peace be upon you, O the mountain of patience. What kind of patience did she have, That's why we all raise our hands and we send our salam to Aba Abdullah al-Hussein Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi, just as Zainab Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayha did when she was on the camel sending it to Imam al-Hussein on her way to Sham. What did she say? She would say, Assalamu alayk ya Aba Abdullah, Assalamu alayk ya ibn Rasulillah, Assalamu alayk ya akhi ya Hussein. Brothers and sisters, we raise our hands and may you Yujib 3 times with the loudest of your voices through the musibah of Aba Abdullah Salamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi and his family. We say Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Amma yujibun. All together. Amma yujibul mutarra idha da'ahu. One more time. Amma yujibul. اللهم شافي كل مريض بحق مريض كربلاء زين العابدين. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين واخذل الكفر والمنافقين. اللهم انصر علماءنا العاملين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. And to answer our du'as and to accept the efforts of this majlis and all those who have attended, we recite Surah Al-Mubarakah Al-Fatiha بعد الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.